Welcome to the Two Steps Ahead podcast, starring Robert Sean McGrew and Raul Ruiz, talking business, strategy, and growth, helping you stay 2 steps ahead. Let's get to work.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Two Steps Ahead podcast. I'm Robert Sean McGrew.
And I'm Raul Ruiz.
And it's springtime slash going into summer, and definitely sports is what comes to mind to a lot of people. Baseball. You're a big Cubbies fan, been watching your season pass and watching all these games. And how are the Cubbies doing anyway, by the way?
They're doing pretty good. They're doing really damn good. Seriously, the Cubs are doing pretty phenomenal this year. They're 16-10, great record. They're beating the Dodgers, which they spent hundreds of millions of dollars on their team to go ahead and be contenders this year. And the Cubs have started to beat them. So they're doing really well, really well.
Awesome. Congrats. I haven't really gotten into baseball a ton in a while, but it is America's pastime, right? Take me out to the
Absolutely.
ball game.
Absolutely. Hey, do you normally sing it in the seventh inning stretch like everybody else? I hope you
Have
do.
to, man. It's a tradition.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
what else do you do?
So there's a reason why we're talking about sports today, right? We love sports, first of all. I love baseball. I love basketball. Have you been keeping up on basketball recently?
I know, but I saw the recent debates again between LeBron and Jordan.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that comparison's always going on, isn't it? Always. Now we're
But
90s, right? We're 90s, right? So are we Jordan?
yeah, like the joke was, do you ask somebody, are you wearing your Jordans or are you wearing LeBrons? Just leave it there.
That's right. I got a bunch of Jordans in my closet. I don't know about you.
No, I don't, but I was a big Spurs fan back in the day. And you talk about David
You were.
Robinson. Oh yeah, Sean Elliott. Even when we took Dennis Rodman from you guys.
Oh, that's right. Oh, that's right. He was there for a while, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I love that guy. I love that guy. Mm.
But you're right. We talk about sports, and the reason we talk about sports, not only because it's something that brings people together, right? From a work aspect, people go out to the games, go take an afternoon off, go see a baseball game, have a relaxing afternoon, have some peanuts, have a beer, and just have some conversation. A lot of things are done over sports. Golf is another one, right? A lot of people, take time out to golf, and because there's a lot of negotiations, there's a lot of practices through the year even if golf isn't as big with younger generations as it was in our generations, it's still one of those things that happens around business. But the reason we're bringing the sports analogy in there is because no matter what you like, sports, I'm a big soccer fan, my family is, we travel quite a bit for that. It brings people together. And that's what we're talking about today of how we bring together, in particular in the workplace, it's teamwork, right? Sports and the workplace are very similar in that aspect.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. It's all about being cohesive, right? Being a cohesive team, being able to understand each other's thoughts and finish each other's sentences to some degree. It really is about teamwork and being united as one and trying to get to a final goal, which the goal is to win, right? That's the object of a game. That's the object of a sport. We are in it to win it.
That's right. And being cohesive, being together, just like Drew and I are sitting next to each other, even though we're not sitting next to each other.
That's
It's
right.
the world of technology today is wonderful and in being able to bring us together regardless. But as you're saying, being cohesive and working together is very important from the aspect of teamwork. A team can't function by itself because it's made up of individuals. That means that each of you contribute something to that team. Going back to the sports for a moment, Cubs. If you didn't have a pitcher, how would you guys play a game? If you didn't have somebody who was willing to bat, how would you win a game? And like you said,
Exactly.
you're in it to win it. And we're not talking about being the champions, etc. When you win because you are being cohesive, you're working together as a team for a common goal.
That's right. That's right. You know, I don't know what sports you played when you were younger, but I will say that I played a lot of baseball when I was younger. I played a lot of basketball when I was younger. And back in Chicago, we played a lot of softball. You'd be surprised. I don't know if you're aware of the 16-inch softball. Do you know about that? You literally know about that? That's awesome. That's incredible. Because a lot of people don't know about that. Normally, I guess a softball that's played at the college level or at the high school level, girls normally play that sport, right? It's a smaller ball. It's a harder ball. It's a little bit bigger than a league ball. The one that we used was a 16-inch softball, which was not as hard. It was softer, it was on the softer side. But we would actually play that without gloves. You don't use gloves and a bat, and I played that pretty much regularly on a regular basis. We had teams all over Chicago that we would play all over the city. It's something that we adapted to and we love to play. And we were, like I said, a cohesive team playing regularly. And it was fun. And the camaraderie that comes from that, even years later, and definitely it's years later, probably 4 decades later, it is great. That's what happens when you have a good team, right? And it doesn't matter if you're a bad team, you just have to work harder at it to try to become a better team. And that's the message that we're trying to send out today. What do you think, Sean?
No, absolutely, absolutely. It doesn't matter the size of the ball in this case. The
Mhm.
goal is still the same. It doesn't matter the players, and it does to an extent. We'll come back to that in a moment. But it matters that you have a team and that you're focused on playing something together. So you're talking about
Exactly.
sports as a kid. I didn't do softball. My career started with marbles. Remember marbles?
Oh gosh, yes.
And that was a lot of fun. I'm tongue in cheek saying that, but it is fun. People forget about that, but that was a fun time digging the holes and then throwing the marbles and stuff. But later
So,
on,
so
I
were
did.
you a hustler at a marbles?
Yeah, let's move on.
I knew
Uh,
people like you.
no, actually, I had some friends that were really good and they taught me, and yeah, we cleaned up. And
Yes.
we had a big box of marbles for a long time. I don't know ever know what happened to those, but regardless, I played a little bit of soccer, and then I even played football one time. And I wasn't a big kid. I wasn't real big, and I wasn't scrawny either, but I wasn't like a lineman. But they put me on the line, and that was definitely a lesson to be learned, regardless of whatever age you are. And that's part of the teamwork that I want to jump into for a moment, because I talk about being part of the line on the football front. And it's important that you have those that are there for you. They're blocking for you, they're helping to protect you, they're doing some hard work, and there's a lot of practice that goes into being able to be a lineman. I never didn't end up doing it in high school or a career by any means, but I'm pointing that out because in teams, you also have people that you depend on, that you rely on, and that has to be there for you and you for them. Because if we don't have that line or those kinds of people, then things can go a totally different direction. And in this particular case, using this analogy, they're blocking and protecting the ones that are in the back, the quarterback, the running back, the wing back, the wide receiver, etc. Because not that they're more important players, but they're part of the team, and there's a strategy to this. And in this particular case, being the front line and the lineman, the strategy is you're the first line of defense.
Exactly, exactly. I'm glad that you bring up that analogy because if you think about it, the things that we've done in our lives from the time that we were a little kid to the time that we're an adult and everything in between is that we've always moved from one activity to another activity. It was
Right.
playing marbles, it was playing jacks, it was playing softball, it was playing soccer, it was playing baseball. We go through these times in our life at different times, like the way we do it now with our career, right? We've pivoted from one career to another career with different teams, with different individuals, with different characters in our lives. Whether they're still there or not, that's irrelevant. The fact that we actually went through it during that time with that team is what made you today a better leader or stronger in your career. It's the same analogy when you think about a team environment. Whenever you play in a team, yeah, you're there to win, right? Ultimately, you're there to win, but it's a learning process. It's a growing process. The more activity you do, the more you play, the better you get at it. And it's the same thing with your career, with your life, with everything you do in life.
You touched on something very important, and that's the learning aspect. And I think people forget about that, saying, yeah, my team, yeah, we won the championship, we won the prize, we did the project, but what did you learn from it? If you're not learning, then you're there for the wrong reasons and you're not
Exactly.
doing the proper elements around you to take forward. And so going back again with the sports team, they're out there working. There's workouts, there's practices. And what happens if you don't show up? You don't get to play. You get benched. We're going to bring Raul in. Robert, you sit down because you didn't take the time. Everybody has to put their part in. And then as you're putting your part in, you start learning different things. So going with baseball, yeah, I'm out there whacking balls, practice, and I'm in the hitting cage. And what am I learning? If I'm not learning something, then I'm just there for the motions and getting a paycheck, right? But I
Mhm.
should be watching, where am I hitting it? Oh, I'm realizing I hit more to right field than I do left field. Maybe I need to switch it up because I can fake out my opponent. Something simple like that will take you further and can get you further in your career. So when you're in your workplace, whatever type of job you're doing, you should always be looking at, how can I do better? How can I learn from what I'm doing now? Or how can I learn from somebody who knows how?
Exactly. Totally agree with you on that. The minor adjustments that we make, whether it's in our career or in a sport, are enormous. They have enormous consequences. Every individual that makes adjustments is for the final outcome to be a better outcome. You're actually trying to make the team better. So when you make yourself better, you make the team better. Things like that go a long way.
I'm going to go with another direction that people talk about sometimes. It's, Raul, I'm just here for the paycheck. Yeah, I'm part of the team because they drafted me and they recruited me to be part of it. But you know what? I don't like that guy, Raul. And so I'm just going to do what I've got to do. And I'm going to go home when it's time to go home.
What are we in high school again? So you know what? Wow, that's another topic that we could talk about as far as clicks
Oh,
and things like that.
absolutely. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
think one day we will talk about that for sure. But yeah, no, I totally agree. You have to have a fire lit under you. You have to have a passion for what you do. You have to enjoy what you do. If you don't enjoy what you do, then you're doing the wrong thing. Plain and
Absolutely.
simple.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've had that conversation. And even back in my early days in my early career, I went back to my high school and talked to some students and stuff. And everybody was always like, "Hey, how much are you making? What are you driving? What are you living in? Who do you know?" And it's not about that kind of stuff. Yeah, there's a place for some of that. People like certain lifestyles. Nothing wrong with it. You choose your lifestyle and you go with it. That's fine. But from an aspect of working to do something you love versus working you do just to get a paycheck, huge difference. And
Big time.
the satisfaction levels are quite also different. And so if you're in a job where you're just like, yeah, I wish it was 5 o'clock, I'm ready to go, versus, yeah, it's 5 o'clock and man, I wish I would have finished that, but I'm going to go home with my family. I'm going to go out with my friends, and tomorrow I'm going to get back to it. Two different scenarios. At the end of the day, which one do you choose?
Exactly. I'm the latter. I'm the guy that actually wants to go ahead and I'm waiting for Monday to come along. I want Monday to start all over again so I can go have another chance to prove to myself that I can do better than last week. That's just me. It's always been me. But you're right. There's certain individuals in the same situation, two different outcomes. And really it's up to you to decide what your outcome should be.
You just touched on something important as well, and that word is purpose. You said you're waiting for Monday, right? Just the same as you're waiting for 5 o'clock to come around, or you're waiting for Friday to come around. You're waiting for something because you're looking forward to something, and that's awesome. And having a purpose is important, and those purposes can be interchangeable in different things. Purpose can be, I need to go be with my family, it's time for me to go home, it's the weekend, I've got a baseball game I'm going to, the weekend's almost over, tomorrow's Monday, and I'm going to go back into my project, I'm going to go back into my efforts that I'm working on and ready to go. So having a purpose is important. Purpose and goals very similar, not the same, but having a purpose in place helps drive you into what you're doing. Because if you're just going through the motions, if you're just doing something for the sake of doing it, then why are you doing it?
Exactly, exactly. And I hope that everybody that listens and watches our podcast sees that everything we talk about relates to everything we've ever talked about. The last couple of podcasts that we've had have always been on the positive side of what you can control and how you should control it and how you can advance in it. It's
Absolutely.
really all a state of mind. It's what you want it to be. And it all goes back to the same conversations we've had. And I think that's something that we're trying to instill not just in ourselves, but our families as well and our friends, try to motivate them to be better, to do more, to do things that they feel that maybe they can't do. So that's the whole purpose of this podcast. And I think us talking about sports is just another way of us trying to get the message out there that, hey, we are competitive in nature from the beginning. It doesn't matter who you are. We all have a competitive advantage doing things that we want to do. Whenever there's something we want to do, we're going to be competitive. Whenever something we're good at, we're going to be competitive. So it's just finding that happy medium where you are happy doing what you're doing. You always have options. You just got to look for the right one.
But you leaned into something I want to lean into a little bit more. And going back to sports, have something, purpose, continue. Those three combined there. You're a sports fan. You're a Chicago Cubs fan. You've had ups and downs. You've had bad years. You've had good years. But you continue and you go forward. Why?
Mostly bad years.
That's not relevant. That's not relevant.
I'm just
Like,
kidding.
yeah, but I get you. I get you. I feel you, man. But no, but why do you keep doing it? Because you're a sports fan of that team and you support them through up and downs, through good
Right.
and bad, through the wins, through the championships, through the worst years. Because the purpose is a fan, you support the team that's doing the things that makes you happy, in this case,
Right.
baseball. And so teamwork, workplace should be similar but different. Similar in the aspect that yes, it's not you're not raw your team all the time, and but there should be some of that. There needs to be some camaraderie to an extent. Yeah, okay. Workplace, you're not necessarily going there to make friends. If you do, great. But we're all trying to get to something. If it's a project that you're working on, a certain goal you're trying to meet, a sales goal you're trying to meet, a certain client you're trying to get, you're working together to do something because you guys are brought together for a purpose.
You mentioned something a minute ago about it's the same but different. And I have a story about that. It's a short story. My daughter, when she was younger, she said that. I don't remember what the situation was, what the environment was, or anything like that. But it made us laugh when she said that. It's the same but different. And the more I think about something like that, it's so true. Each of us have a fire that we can light under ourselves, right? But it's for different reasons.
Yes.
It's the same fire, it's just for different reasons. And even now, which is probably about 25 years later, it totally makes sense every time I hear that phrase. It's a very important phrase that we can always be ourselves, meaning that we're going to be different than everybody else. And it's okay because that's what lights our fire. That's who we are. That's what we do. It's okay to be different, even though literally we're doing the same thing to some degree, because again, we got that light under our fire or fire under our light, whatever you want to call it. And that's what motivates us. And again, that's very important to have that motivation factor to move forward with whatever you want to do, whether it's in life, whether it's in business, whether it's playing competitive sports, whether it's a spelling bee when you're in seventh grade, whatever the situation is, whatever lights that fire is your motivating factor.
I want to go one level deeper. That I think you're spot on in that. One level deeper as human beings. What are our basic needs? Food, water, shelter. And if you really take it down to that level, we can grow food, we can build shelter, and we can get water if done properly. But it's essential for us and our bodies to survive. Everything else is bonus. And so, what you're talking about right now, and talking about passions, talking about things that you like, we take it too serious sometimes in the aspect of the what we're trying to achieve and do. But absolutely take something that you enjoy and take it to where you can and provide the world with what you can bring to the table. And if you took it and lean into it a little bit more from that perspective, it changes the dynamics of how you work, right? We look at work as a society as a burden, but if you really take the time to look at it from the perspective of what you're providing, that's why I'll be honest with you, Ro. That's why I like hanging out with you. We talk about things because you're very passionate about what you do. I'm very passionate about what I do. And we're able to bring that together and we talk to others constantly about what we do. And people see what we're doing and understand and come along with it. Imagine if everybody had that same passion, drive, and desire, and no matter what they're doing and what they're good at.
Exactly. And I think I'm gonna mess this up, but I think it's a saying, it, and correct me because I think it's wrong. It's the adventure, not the destination. Correct me, please. What am I trying to say?
No, I think I don't remember exactly that phrase, but I know what you're getting at. And it doesn't matter where you're at, be who you are and enjoy what you have.
Ultimately, that's all about it. Yep. That's it.
And
That is it.
speaking of where we're at, I think you're gonna have to put a little shade on that skylight because when I lean forward, I get a little light. See, look, see that
By the
skylight.
way, this is my house. You like it?
I'm drawing designs of my hair here,
Hey,
but you have to live it up a little. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I hope everybody was enlightened by the conversation and the topic that we had today. What do you think, Sean?
No, I think it's good, and we're always open for more suggestions. We've gotten a few suggestions already, and if you have one, put it in the comments. We'd love it. Share with your friends. If this is helpful for you, share it for somebody else because somebody else may be helpful. And again, as Raul said many times, and I've said it too, by no means are we trying to be completely professional in this recordings and in what we do. We want soft approach. We want to bring it to you to be able to resonate personally and within your business and bring it together because at the end of the day, they're connected, they're interconnected. And we want to bring topics that are meaningful to you and hopefully that does resonate with you.
Perfect.
Next
Thank
time,
you.
are we gonna be in the same room again? I like
You know
the
what? I think next time we're going to do a different room. Yes,
different
absolutely.
room.
Yeah, yes. We'll be in
All
the
right.
ballroom next time.
And
By the way, Sean, I know we didn't touch on this at the beginning of our podcast today, but I do want to apologize to everyone who has viewed our last podcast. Like I said, we are learning as we go. Things are evolving every time we do a podcast. So the sound quality wasn't as great as we would hope it would have been. So I want to apologize for that. I think this one will be a lot better. But please, if you have any comments, suggestions, or ideas, feel free to share them down below.
and we'll get better as we go along, folks. So just hang with us. If you like our conversations, that's what we're really aiming for. And we'll work on the technology issues and problems and get those worked out. But we want the conversation. That's more what we want. So thanks for joining us again. Hope to see you again soon as we keep you two steps ahead.
Take care.